See this web? No, it wasn't made by a serial killer. Believe it or not, this web is actually proof that Crazy Stupid Love has one of the best rom-com scenes of all time. And once you understand what it means, you'll not only understand the genius of Crazy Stupid Love, but also how everything comes back to this one perfect scene. This video is brought to you by Plotwell. To start, let's talk about how Crazy Stupid Love is structured. Even though Cal and Emily are the main characters and the movie centers around their divorce, there are a lot of other characters with their own plot lines. There's Jacob, the womanizer, with his mentoring of Cal and his falling for Hannah. There's Cal and Emily's son Robbie and his infatuation with babysitter Jessica. There's Jessica's infatuation with Cal. There's David Lindhagen and his relationship with Emily. And there's Jessica's dad Bernie, who is also Cal's friend. Also, if you haven't figured it out, this video will have some major spoilers. So all these plots are interwoven until we get to this scene, which we'll call the Windmill Scene, because the Windmill Scene comes around the 3/4 mark, and it includes every character we just mentioned. It's a chaotic scene full of arguing, fighting, and of course, breaking the windmill. So why is this scene so perfect? To understand, let's talk about something we call the Moment of Peril. The Moment of Peril is a scene near the end of Act 2 that wreaks havoc on the main character's life and halts their storyline. We talked about it in our video about Free Guy, but picture it as the moment when the worst thing imaginable happens. Like this scene in She's Out of My League, when Molly and Kirk argue and break up. Or this scene from Always Be My Maybe, when Sasha and Marcus argue and break up. Or this scene from The Silence of the Lambs, when Hannibal Lecter escapes by stealing a face off a corpse. As you can see in these examples, romance movies usually feature a breakup as the moment of peril. A lot of times, stories will deliver one punch at a time. For example, here's Bridesmaids, when Annie gets fired, then gets an angry voicemail from the love interest, then gets kicked out of her apartment, and finally snaps at her friend's bridal shower. There's no problem with this sequential approach, but contrast that with the Moment of Peril from 21 Jump Street, when Jenko and Schmidt fight on stage, Schmidt gets dumped, and the two get expelled. It all happens in one scene, giving the moment more power and halting several storylines simultaneously. When you compare our 21 Jump Street example to Crazy Stupid Love, you can start to see why the Windmill Scene is so strong. Up until this point in the movie, we've been jumping back and forth between storylines. But in this one scene, 8 different characters come together and halt a whole lot of storylines, or at the very least, ruin relationships. Check this out. Here are the 8 characters, and each blue line is an existing relationship, a love interest, or a friendship. And red lines are negative relationships, like how Cal hates David Lindhagen. In this scene alone, Cal ruins his apology to Emily, tackles Jacob for dating his daughter, and yells at Hannah for dating Jacob. Bernie threatens to kill Cal and is furious with Jessica for taking nude photos to send to Cal. Jessica's relationship with Cal is ruined. Robbie is angry at Jessica for loving Cal, which makes him also hate his dad. And, as a bonus, Jacob punches David Lindhagen. Out of these 16 lines, 9 of them are now red. And, most importantly, main character Cal now has a negative relationship with everyone. This is exactly what a Moment of Peril should do. It should halt as many storylines as possible and make things awful for the main character. And not only does the Windmill Scene pull it off perfectly, but this weird serial killer web shows why. So why is this scene so good? Because instead of having these breakups happen one at a time, it brought them together in one perfect mess. And the sheer number of ruined relationships is astounding. If you're a writer, take notes. Sure, your story can have a typical argument and breakup, or even a few bad things back to back. But when possible, and especially in stories with many storylines, it's a lot more satisfying and memorable to break the windmill.